Scott Pose, I'm Kevin Kugler. We saw the start of this game, and at the very beginning of this game, 7 runs scoring between Michigan and Ohio State. Will we see similar fireworks in the daylight hours?
Well, I have no doubt, because both of these teams want to get to the opportunity to play Michigan State in another game later this afternoon, and they're bitter rivals. We know that. Ohio State's had the better of their 4 matchups this year. Michigan's trying to change that, but we can guarantee fireworks later this afternoon.
As you look at the batting order for Ohio State, it'll be the number 3 hitter who will be going for the Buckeyes when we resume. That's Ronnie Dawson. He will be at the plate in an 0-1 count. Kuhn, Montgomery, Bosiokovic, Washington, Leffel, and Gant to follow with Sergakis and Nenek at the top of that order. And William Tribuker, who came on in relief last night, resumes this game still on the mound. So Tribuker will be on the mound. Dawson will be at the plate. And after a long delay, we're going to get back to action in game number 9 after playing game number 10. Over a 10-hour delay in this one. But you know what? We're happy to have it back. As the 0-1 from Tribuker comes in, and the bottom of the second resumes. And it's 1-1 on Ronnie Dawson, who singled in a run in the first inning 10 hours ago. 1-for-1 in this ball game. And the 1-1 pitch, Dawson fouls it back, and it's 1-2. Does the delay, the resumption of this game 10 hours later, Scott, help either of these teams from a pitching standpoint, the chance to rest a little bit overnight?
It helps both teams because they've had to work their way through the lower part of the bracket, but what it does is rest a little more arms and gives them the opportunity to bring them out of the bullpen as Dawson hits this one into the
as the pitch comes in for a strike. 1-1.
Marching has a good curveball, and he throws 2 there to Kuhn. This one for a strike.
Kuhn looked at it and says, yep.
It's not what he's sitting on first pitch, or at least first strike. He was looking for fastball, and if he can get it, he's trying to hit a double, score his teammate.
He's driven in 9 runs in the tournament. That leads the Big Ten tourney. The 1-1. And a liner down the left field line. That's a fair ball headed for the corner. Pickett over to try to cut it. It bounces oddly, rounding third, and headed home is Dawson. Buckeyes lead in the 9th inning.
It was another curveball from Marching, and it was hanging in the zone. Kuhn tattoos it down into the corner. You want to see in this situation. Bases loaded. Iowa's hottest hitter stepping into the batter's box.
He's hitting .632 in the tournament. 12 for 19. Bottom of the 8th, his team down 1 in the title game. And Booker, with the bases loaded, settles in against Pavlopoulos. Off speed, center field, base hit. Pickett scores. We're tied at 7.
How resilient is this Iowa team? Down 3 with 1 out. Newstrom walks. Moriel walks. Pickett gets a base hit. Peyton comes up huge. Hit by pitch. Now Booker comes through to tie this ball game.
His 13th hit in 20 at-bats. And he wasted no time attacking the offering for Pavlopoulos.
Nearly all in the middle of the field, too. I mean, he has had that up-the-middle approach the entire time. No better time to do that than with the bases loaded.
And now Iowa can take the lead in the 8th. Mason McCoy hitting .429 with the bags full this year. Strike over the outer edge of the plate, and it's 0-1.
Of everything, but Montgomery's legs, Kuhn ran all over the place, as did Nenek. They all came up big when they had to. They swung bats all year, and that was their calling card, and they made it their calling card here and claimed the championship against a very scrappy and tough upstart Iowa Hawkeye team. That's the other thing sticks in my mind. They're the 8th seed battling to get into this tournament, and they gave everybody a run for their money. Each team has something very proud to be very proud of as they look back on this tournament.
And Danon Hughes.
We're getting to the time at night where shadows are coming into play, and as a hitter you look for every advantage, but the catcher's shadow is showing hitters where he's setting up. You can't turn around and directly look at the pitcher, or excuse me, the catcher, because that'll get you a fastball in the ribs. But if you look down at the plate or close to it, you see that shadow, and give you a hint of location.
1 ball, 2 side. Scott Pose. I'm Kevin Kugler. We saw the start of this game, and at the very beginning of this game, 7 runs scoring between Michigan and Ohio State. Will we see similar fireworks in the daylight hours?
Well, I have no doubt, because both of these teams want to get to the opportunity to play Michigan State in another game later this afternoon, and they're bitter rivals. We know that. Ohio State's had the better of their 4 matchups this year. Michigan's trying to change that, but we can guarantee fireworks later this afternoon.
As you look at the batting order for Ohio.
Hi again, everybody. Alongside Scott Pose, I'm Kevin Kugler. One more game for a title here in Omaha, Nebraska. The Big Ten title up for grabs as Iowa gets set to take on Ohio State. And I don't know that anybody had this on their tournament bracket when they came out, but if it's anything like the first meeting between these two teams, this will be a special game.
Well, it's one thing that's special for sure. They gave us the best game of the tournament, at least finishes, that is, and it's a rematch today. But today, the tournament championship is on the line. Nobody may have expected it, but Ohio State has slugged their way here. Iowa has done the same. They're the upstart, but the title is going to be at stake.
Ohio State looking for its first title in a long time.
We're down here on the set with 2 of the stars from today's game. The Maryland Terrapins find a way to get it done against the Hoosiers, and we have Mike Schwarn, who dominated on the mound, and we have Marty Costas, who was the offensive star as well. And Marty, I'll start with you. You drove the ball in a park where typically the ball doesn't carry, but you saw the ball well, you got your arms extended. Tell us about your approach at the plate.
I just want to stay aggressive. Last couple games I've been struggling a bit, but I just kept my confidence. The team, knowing my teammates behind me will hit me in. And I like to, thank Nick for hitting me in as much as he did. So, I was just having fun.
Well, you mentioned Nick Dunn. He had 3 hits as well to drive him in. But when you were at the plate, the batter's eye, everything, what came in and what seemed to be firing for you as you saw the ball, as you saw it so well today?
I think I just got the pitches that I wanted. I got the ball up in the zone, and I just got my swing off, and good things happen when I keep my confidence. So.
Well, congratulations to you. Nice job on the field. Now we'll get to you, big man. Mike Schwarn comes through on the mound. A ton of strikeouts for you today. What was working, and what adjustments did you make throughout the game?
Yeah, I just try to, attack hitters, and early on they were pretty aggressive at the plate, and the combination of fastball, slider, and changeup was working. And then throughout the game, they started putting, together better at bats. So, in the middle innings, the strikeouts kind of settled down a little bit, but that's expected. They're a good lineup. They have good guys in there, so. And with a lot of experience too. So, I just try to, keep the attacking mentality throughout the game, and it worked.
Well, you seem to get more aggressive with your fastball later in the game, but you're varying your arm slots too. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, I don't really know much about, I'm not trying to vary my arm slots, but sometimes it just gives a hitter a little bit of a different look. I was told by one of my coaches back in the day that, you throw 2 types of fastballs, your fastball and then your BP fastball. And just a little bit difference of mile per hour can just mess the hitter up. So, that's the same thing with the, arm slot too.
Well, congratulations to you guys. Good luck the rest of the way in the tournament.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, a very impressive performance today from Mike Schwarn. It doesn't get much better than that. 16 strikeouts to pace Maryland. We'll wrap things.
Hey, well, thanks, Kevin. We got 2 of the stars of the game here in Cam Bew and Corey Young. And first, we'll start with you, Cam. You came up huge. You've been a Friday night starter all year for your team. Tell us what it's like to pitch as well as you did today.
It's awesome to come back after kind of having 4 pretty bad starts in my past 4 outings. I just knew in order for us to make a run in this tournament, I had to go as deep as I could, and I pretty much did that for us today.
Well, speaking about going on a run and going deep into the game, what's that do for the rest of your pitching staff as this tournament goes on?
It saved our whole bullpen. We didn't have to really use hardly any arms. Mekas probably threw 12 pitches, so it sets us up perfectly. We're pretty much got the full staff ready to go for the rest of the tournament.
Well, congratulations on a great day. Corey, you were in the middle of everything offensively. Tell us about your approach at the plate and what you had to do at the bottom of the order to get the offense going.
Our entire season we've talked about picking each other up, and so I knew at the bottom of the order I was going to get a lot of fastballs, and my whole approach was just try and jump on something straight and hit it hard, and I got a couple pitches that they missed up, and I was able to capitalize on them.
Well, and then in the game you had a bunt that you had to get down, but you were able to beat that out. Talk us about your approach when you got to get a bunt down and everybody in the park knows it's coming.
I just like to stay relaxed up there. It's easy to kind of get stiff if you square too early. So when we talk about squaring a little later and just stay relaxed. And, we bunt a million times in practice, so we just go out there and execute. And I was just trying to get down the third baseline and give myself a good chance to get down the baseline.
Hey, well, congratulations on a great day for both of you guys, and good luck to you the rest of this tournament.
Thank you very much.
For Maryland with a triple, and they never looked back. And then Mike Schwarren took over with 16 strikeouts, a dominating performance to give Maryland the victory.
Unhittable was Schwarren, and then we go to the next game of the day, and of course it was Michigan State using a big inning and a whole lot of pitching from their lefty.
Well, Michigan State got a big inning in the 6th inning. Corey Young in the middle of it, dropping the bunt down, getting the base hit, and forcing the air. And then on the floodgates open, Jordan Zimmerman came up with a base hit the other way. They scored 5 runs. That was enough as Cam View looked good himself.
So upsets the order of the day early. What will be the case here tonight is Minnesota taking on Iowa, and later on it'll be Ohio State and 5th seeded Michigan. As we welcome into our broadcast booth, I'm Andy Mazur along with Scott Bowes. Minnesota wins the Big Ten regular season title for the first time since 2010. For Iowa, they were basically playing for their lives the last couple of weeks of the season. They didn't earn their bid to the tournament until the final weekend. How do you see this one playing out?
Well, Minnesota played consistent baseball all year. Their pitching and defense and fundamentally sound. Expect them to do more of the same in the tournament. Iowa, like you mentioned, has had their own playoff, all their own, have played their way in, and they're looking for the upset tonight. But Iowa's got a very good player in Joel Booker. He's an all-Big Ten performer. He leads the team in average, RBIs, doubles, and stolen bases. The kid can do it all. He will anchor the middle of this Iowa lineup, and if they score some offense, it will be him in the middle of it. And for Minnesota, they have an all-Big Ten performer all their own. He's the backstop, Austin Ottman. He's got 11 home runs. He's hitting near 400 all year. He anchors the middle of the Minnesota order. He'll be in the middle of their offense. It's going to be an exciting matchup tonight.
And he'll be catching Matt Fiedler here tonight as well. First, let's take a look at the Iowa starting lineup. Tyler Payton, Nick Rossetti, and Joel Booker. That's the top 3. McCoy, Guzzo, and the freshman Newstrom. In the middle of the order, Moriel, Jablinski, and Daniels. The bottom 3 in the batting order for Rick Heller, the head coach at the University of Iowa. And again, they'll be facing Matt Fiedler.
Well, Matt Fiedler is the player of the year in the Big Ten.
I'm Andy Mazur along with Scott Bowes. Minnesota wins the Big Ten regular season title for the first time since 2010. For Iowa, they were basically playing for their lives the last couple of weeks of the season. They didn't earn their bid to the tournament until the final weekend. How do you see this one playing out?
Well, Minnesota played consistent baseball all year. Their pitching and defense and fundamentally sound. Expect them to do more of the same in the tournament. Iowa, like you mentioned, has had their own playoff, all their own, have played their way in, and they're looking for the upset tonight. But Iowa's got a very good player in Joel Booker. He's an all-Big Ten performer. He leads the team in average, RBIs, doubles, and stolen bases. The kid can do it all. He will anchor the middle of this Iowa lineup. And if they score some offense, it will be him in the middle of it. And for Minnesota, they have an all-Big Ten performer all their own. He's the backstop, Austin Ottman. He's got 11 home runs. He's hitting near 400 all year. He anchors the middle of the Minnesota order. He'll be in the middle of their offense. It's going to be an exciting matchup tonight.
And he'll be catching Matt Fiedler here tonight as well. First, let's take a look at the Iowa starting lineup. Tyler Payton, Nick Rossetti, and Joel Booker. That's the top 3. McCoy, Guzzo, and the freshman Newstrom. In the middle of the order, Moriel, Jablinski, and Daniels. The bottom 3 in the batting order for Rick Heller, the head coach at the University of Iowa. And again, they'll be facing Matt Fiedler.
Well, Matt Fiedler is the player of the year in the Big Ten.
Outside chance to win the Big Ten regular season title toward the end, playing some great baseball. Michigan, however, kind of limped into the tournament here, losing their final series to Illinois. How do you see this one shaking out?
Well, Andy, Ohio State came in swinging as good at bats as anybody in the tournament. They've been playing hot baseball, and like you mentioned, they had a chance to win the outright Big Ten championship if things would have fallen right. They're coming in hot. Michigan has limped in. They lost 7 of their last 8. But that doesn't matter anymore. Look who they're playing now. Their biggest rival, Michigan, Ohio State. You couldn't script it any better. And Michigan gets Carmen Benedetti back. And that's important because he's been hurt, but he's a two-way player. He'll play first base. He'll play right field. He'll pitch. He's got a good arm from the left side, but he'll also hit, and he anchors the middle of this Michigan order. Ohio State counters with Ronnie Dawson, all Big Ten performer, and as he hit the baseball, he leads the team in home runs, but he can hit the ball all over this park. And the way it's been carrying today, the Buckeyes are going to need him to do that, but Ronnie Dawson certainly is capable.
Yeah, you mentioned it. Rumor does have it that this is a rather big rivalry, whether it be baseball, football, or basketball. Michigan and Ohio State. Let's take a look at the Andy Mazer along with Scott Bowes. We look at the matchup today. These two teams have a lot of pressure on them to win today. It's a win-or-go-home situation, but neither team really hit the baseball very well yesterday.
Well, neither did, and are here as a result, but it speaks to the parity that's in the Big Ten Conference this year. Anybody here can win it, but it's urgency for both of these teams, because if they don't win today, their regular season is over.
Let's take a look now at the batting order for the Indiana Hoosiers. They will be the visiting team here today. It's Alex Krupa to lead things off. Craig Dedelo and Logan Sowers next in the lineup. It'll be Ryan Feynman, Luke Miller, and Scotty Bradley in the middle. Cangelosi, Wilhite, and Stratton. That is the bottom three of the batting order for Chris Lemonis. And working here against Matt Waldron.
Matt Waldron has been a consistent starter for Nebraska. He can throw some strikes, but has a dominant curveball. Look for him to go to that pitch when he needs to get the strikeout. As you look at his numbers there, a great strikeout to walk ratio. He's going to throw strikes for the Huskers today.
Defensively, it's outside chance to win the Big Ten regular season title toward the end. Playing some great baseball. Michigan, however, kind of limped into the tournament here, losing their final series to Illinois. How do you see this one shaking out?
Well, Andy, Ohio State came in swinging as good at bats as anybody in the tournament. They've been playing hot baseball, and like you mentioned, they had a chance to win the outright Big Ten championship if things would have fallen right. They're coming in hot. Michigan has limped in. They lost 7 of their last 8. But that doesn't matter anymore. Look who they're playing now. Their biggest rival, Michigan, Ohio State. You couldn't script it any better. And Michigan gets Carmen Benedetti back. And that's important because he's been hurt, but he's a two-way player. He'll play first base. He'll play right field. He'll pitch. He's got a good arm from the left side, but he'll also hit, and he anchors the middle of this Michigan order. Ohio State counters with Ronnie Dawson, all Big Ten performer, and as he hit the baseball, he leads the team in home runs, but he can hit the ball all over this park. And the way it's been carrying today, the Buckeyes are going to need him to do that, but Ronnie Dawson certainly is capable.
Yeah, you mentioned it. Rumor does have it that this is a rather big rivalry, whether it be baseball, football, or basketball. Michigan and Ohio State. Let's take a look at
a remarkable comeback by the Hawkeyes, and we have two of the heroes here at our desk to talk about how it happened. First is Mason McCoy, comes up, bases loaded, bottom of the 10th, nobody out. What's going through your mind? What's your approach?
Yeah, just put the ball in play. You know, we got Tyler at third base, who's a great base runner. I know if I put something in play, you know, good things are going to happen. Luckily, I just got a pitch I could drive to the outfield, and it just ended it that way.
Well, Mason, tell me about the mindset of the team. John Havert threw a pretty good ball game. You had trouble. You couldn't break through. They make a pitching change. What happened?
You know, he threw an amazing game. You know, he shut us down. I mean, through until he came out. I think we were just, you know, we knew it was going to come eventually. Eventually, we were going to get the hits. Eventually, you know, we were barreling balls up from start to finish, and we knew eventually it was going to come through. And it just so happened after they made the change, that's when it all went down.
Well, you come up with a big hit, you hit the ball to right center. Did you have any chance to realize what was going on before your teammates got to you?
Yeah, as soon as I knew when I got there and I barreled up, I was like, that's it, there it is, you know, my first walk-off ever. So, you know, it was an incredible feeling, and I knew my teammates had my back from the start.
Well, one of these guys had your back, and that's Tyler Payton. Tyler, you started on the mound. Tell us about your day there first, because you threw a heck of a ball game. It's just you couldn't get the offensive support right away.
Oh, it's just doing what I can to keep our team in the game. I was just going out there competing, didn't really think which side I was on, pitching or hitting. I was just trying to do what I could to keep us in and help us win the game, and that's about it.
Well, tell me about your mindset when you're on the mound, you're facing a good hitting team, especially in the fastball like Ohio State. What was your game plan?
Yeah, I mean, we've seen them 3-4 times now, and I mean, they're a great fastball hitting team. So I mean, we had to try and work around that. Use my off speed, had to get the off speed over for strikes today, and I think that was the key to my success on the mound.
Well, now your success in the batter's box. What's been your approach? Because you've been on fire. You had a bunch of hits the first game. You come through big here again. What's it like, and how's the ball look to you?
Oh, I mean, I'm just trying to stay in the middle of the field, and I try to do too much with it. Just trying to stay right up the middle, and I mean, it helps me hit the better part of the ball when I stay that way.
One more question. What's the importance of you guys staying in the upper bracket now? What's it mean to you and your ball club?
It's very important. Saves pitching now. I mean, we got a lot of guys still in there. I mean, it's just a huge win for us. And with all the guys that we still have, and then just the momentum riding into it to be in the winner's bracket, I think it's great for the team.
Well, congratulations, guys, on a great victory. Get some rest, and good luck the rest of the way.
All right, thank you.
Now, what a performance, State Park. And Scott, what a performance today for Iowa. Havard was tremendous through 8 innings.
for the Ohio State Buckeyes, but Iowa never quit in this game.
Well, they never quit, and there's a reason Yogi Berra said it's never over till it's over, and the Hawkeyes showed great resolve. And once Ohio State made the pitching change, the bats seemed to come to life. Iowa hit the ball really well their first game. They hit it well late, and they come away with a victory.
Well, Iowa got it done late, but it was Ohio State who got it done early in this one. And in fact, Trey Gant in the 8th inning, or in the 9th inning rather, plates a run that makes it a 4-0 game. You think that's going to be all you need if you're Ohio State?
Well, it looked to be that way. It was a comfortable lead for the Buckeyes, but then the Hawkeyes came back and just stayed in the middle of the field, hit single after single. As Mason McCoy adds to it, he would come up big later, as we all know, but the solid hitting. And then how about Pickett coming up, getting the big hit to tie the game in limited action this year? He's excited. The Hawkeyes tie the game, and Mason McCoy set the stage for him with the bases loaded, nobody out. He hits the ball in the gap. The Hawkeyes win the ball game.
From a player's standpoint, Scott Pose, obviously Iowa riding high. They get the day off and they're back here tomorrow morning. If you're Ohio State, how in the world do you recover from that in such short order to play your rival Michigan again to keep your season going?
Well, that's a tough one. You're going to be angry after a game like that. You've got to find a way to use your anger to your benefit and come back and make sure that you stay in.
Flash resuming at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. Good morning, everybody, from TD Ameritrade Park alongside Scott Pose. I'm Kevin Kugler. You've got a matchup today of the 8th-seeded Iowa Hawkeyes, the 6th-seeded Maryland Terrapins. Iowa comes into the Scott knowing they need one win, and they're playing for a title. Maryland needs to win twice to get to that championship.
Well, the upstart Iowa Hawkeyes got it done yesterday with a storybook win. They find themselves one win away from the championship. Maryland is coming back from the lower bracket, trying to extend it. It's going to be an exciting matchup in this game.
Well, we'll see a lot of stars in this game, but a couple have shown especially bright. Tyler Payton for Iowa.
Well, he's done it on the mound and out of the leadoff spot for the Hawkeyes. He's hit the ball all over the park and has propelled them offensively. And speaking of propulsion, you've got Marty Costas for Maryland, who insists that all of his hits must be of the extra base variety because he's got a home run, a triple, and a couple of doubles, and he has really displayed some power. He's in the middle of everything for Maryland.
Oh, he's been terrific all week long here for the Terrapins, propelling them to this semifinal game. And you look at that batting order, Scott Pose, and you see a couple of guys in that batting order that are important. Payton, obviously, at the top. But when you're talking Booker, you're talking McCoy, you're talking Guzzo, these are guys who have all played a major role this year for Iowa in that lineup.
All the way through the Iowa lineup is the reason that they're here, because they've come on with an offensive onslaught. Typically, pitching dominates the tournament. The Hawkeyes have used the offense to their advantage, and they are here one win away from the championship.
Hunter Parsons getting ready for his 5th start and book on Hunter Parsons. What do we expect from him today, Scott?
Well, he'll throw a sinker, a slider, but he's got great mound presence for a freshman. He'll touch 90 miles an hour, and he's got a curveball and a changeup to go with it, but he's an accomplished pitcher and has really come on as a starter for the Terrapins.
And here we go, the Big Ten semifinal underway, and Tyler Payton attacking the first pitch. Fouls it back to the screen, and it's 0-1.